Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for part 3 of this Newbie Tuesday daily, where we are exploring the Immortal Sentry push and trying to learn not to trip over my words. After this daily is done, I'll be doing the metadating episode with my friends Sean and Bill, where we will be playing indie games that explore romance and love and things like that. So definitely tune into that. The information will be posted over at day9.tv. That means that show's starting in 8 minutes, so we're going to finish up here with a very swift, clean, easy, simple part 3. Let me just make sure that the crackle's gone, right? Give me a 1 if it sounds good and a 0 if it sounds bad. There's this crackle bug. It stings. It hurts the soul. So this was a game played in the quarterfinals between Evil Genius's Suppy and Startail's Parting. Oops. Now, one thing I'll note, remember what I said, don't think too rigidly about pylon placement and all that stuff. We're going to see Parting basically, you know, scout, do all the check-around-aroos. Suppy goes for a pool first. Parting's going to do the same frickin' damn thing. 16 Nexus, mine a little money. 17 Forge, return a little money. Build a gateway and a pylon. It's nothing too extremely different. But, per usual, once we get the photon cannon up, then we go back and chrono boost the probies. Everything is as desired. Now, what we're going to see out of Parting is the same thing. He's going to do the same build. I don't see any reason for me to talk about that. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go to the Suppy cam and point out something. So that way, if you're a Zerg and you're wondering, how on earth do I stop its overwhelming power? Or if you're a Protoss and you're wondering what to be concerned about, what to be anxious about, we're going to use this as an example. And again, I would not say this is the end-all be-all solution, but this game will show both how strong this Parting build is and a way to respond from the lovely E.G. Suppy. So Suppy is just going to be going lots of drones, builds 10 lings about at a normal time, if he was worried about some sort of early aggression. Overlord doesn't see much. And we see some pretty standard timings. This is the normal time for a layer. This is an unusual evolution chamber timing, but it's still something a little cool. So Suppy does something that is... I'm kind of questioning its validity in a general sense. Startail Parting said publicly, I will be going Sentry all in all the time. And Suppy was kind of getting some hints of it, you know, with things like a researching Forge, popping in here, seeing the warp gates go down as its overlord's popping in. But just flooding with these gas geysers, moving in, seeing the sentries, and finally, the Robo facility. This looks like one of two things, and it's important that I say both of them. One is the Immortal Sentry all-in, but the second one is a Warp Prism harassment drop, which can do considerable damage, and actually that's what Parting did to defeat Suppy in later matches. However, Suppy is doing a very interesting opening. We're seeing that this is something that would be able to defend air, right? We would just go, you know, Spore Crawler, without too much trouble. It would be difficult to defend things like ultra hyper fast Warp Prism, ultra hyper fast Pylon 4 gates, but Suppy has built these early lings to check for that, to scout for that. So against most other things like a player taking a third base, which Suppy is looking for, this is going to perform quite reasonably. And there it is, the super hyper early infestation pit. And we're seeing that Suppy actually does not have that much vision, clearly, of what could be coming. However, if you watch GSL, or if you watch just part 1 and 2 of this daily, then you know that the push timing happens at 9 minutes. Now, one thing that I want to note, I'm going to come to right here. This, I think, is an important thing to note because there's, again, 3 possibilities. He's either going for a fast Warp Prism harassment, or he's going for a fast third base with Immortal Sentry, or he's going Immortal Sentry all in. If he was expanding, we would have seen some action out here. If he was doing Warp Prism dropping, we would have seen dropping over here. So it's not difficult to conclude definitively that he's probably doing the all-in. So Suppy's just going to flood with a ridiculous amount of spines here. Went up to 75 drones, actually went to 80 drones, and is just building a ridiculous megaton of spine crawlers. And of course, with the push, like right there, being seen at the watchtower, this is some excellent timing. And the Infestor's not quite out yet, but sweet. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to come to the everyone can. +1 Carapace is a big key to this, because Zealots will kill Zerglings in 2 whacks if they have +1, but if the Zerglings match with the Carapace upgrade, then it takes 3 hits for Zealots to kill Zerglings. Regardless, Infestors suck against Zealots. Yeah, if you're in really tight spaces and your army's clumped like this, they can get off some nice fungals, but even then, you need a lot of fungals to kill off Zealots. So Suppy ends up losing some low energy dudes, has a lot of spines, but even so, remember Parting is not using this Warp Prism for an excess of warping in, he's using it for micro, and suddenly the main becomes a completely straightforward alternative to using warping in action at. Spines stuck at the main, run the risk. Perfect fungals, still going to be very difficult to deal with. And remember, we don't replenish with sentries, so look at our gas. We have so much freaking gas in the bank. Hell, we could actually probably even throw down a Templar Archives and end up with a stupid amount of Archons. I think he's at 6 Archons right now. I love Archons. Pretty sick, right? So, I will state that this map is perfect for the strategy that Parting was doing. Suppy responded in a very brilliant fashion. And ended up narrowly, by the skin of his frickin' teeth, pulling all that stuff. Managed to stay alive, and still lost 34 workers. Pretty good build, right? Pretty good build. I bring up this example because, again, players like Leenock have been going for 2 gas at about 4:30 or 5 minutes, and then taking a third, and they end up with very early Infestor Ling with +1. So, even though Suppy went for it on 3 bases, a 2-base player would still be able to have these Infestors up, and would still be able to pose that sort of threat. So, Suppy ends up winning the game quite straightforwardly. I have to go, because I'm about to be doing another show. I will briefly note I did a daily a little ways back that shows how to defeat the Immortal Sentry play with Nidus Worm. It was a daily on TLO, so feel free to look that one up as well. Other than that, go to day9.tv to get the linkaroo for metadating, because I'm going to go do it now. I'll see you there. Woohoo!